Breaking news! A major shakeup is unfolding in Cleveland as the front office pulls the trigger on a surprising trade just hours before the deadline. With expectations high and speculation swirling about what direction the team would take, this move sends a clear message, but not the one fans were expecting. What looks like a small transaction on the surface could have big implications for the rest of the season and beyond. Here's what really happened, why it matters, and how it could change the Browns' outlook heading into the second half of the year. Make sure to click the like button and comment below. Do you think the Browns can turn this season around? I want to know your opinion. The Cleveland Browns have finalized a trade that sends defensive end Joe Tryon-Shoyinka to the Chicago Bears. It's trade deadline day, and in a move that's got fans buzzing, the Browns, expected to be buyers, decided to ship out one of their defensive linemen instead. Cleveland sends Tryon-Shoyinka along with a 7th-round pick to Chicago and gets a 6th-round pick back in return. On the surface, this might seem like a head-scratcher for a team that's been playing competitive football all season, but a deeper look reveals the Browns are making strategic moves with the long game in mind. Joe Tryon-Shoyinka wasn't exactly lighting up the stat sheet in Cleveland. Through his short stint with the Browns, he logged just 31 snaps. That's barely a glimpse on the field, and it's clear he was buried on the depth chart. With names like Alex Wright and Isaiah McGuire stepping up in big ways and Malik Collins continuing to shine, Tryon-Shoyinka was quickly becoming one of the more expendable pieces on this loaded defensive front. The return of Mike Hall Jr., who has now started seeing action since the Patriots game, only deepens this already stacked group. Shelby Harris has also provided solid veteran presence, and with Myles Garrett continuing his dominance, posting 5 sacks in his last outing, the Browns' defensive line is arguably one of the deepest in the league. PFF certainly thinks so. Garrett is ranked as the best defensive lineman in football. Alex Wright? He's holding down the number 7 spot among edge rushers. Malik Collins? Second best interior pass rusher in the NFL right now. That kind of depth makes a rotational player like Tryon-Shoyinka, who is also on an expiring contract, very tradable. Cleveland wasn't likely to re-sign him this offseason, and moving him now nets them back a 6th-round pick, an asset they had previously given up in the Tyson Campbell deal with Jacksonville. So in terms of value, the front office under Andrew Berry has essentially refilled a hole in their draft arsenal without losing a contributor they relied on week to week. And speaking of the draft, Cleveland is building up a serious arsenal of picks. They've got their own 1st through 5th rounders, added an extra 1st from Jacksonville, picked up 5ths from Las Vegas and Cincinnati, now reacquired that 6th from Chicago, and have multiple 7th-round picks including one from Seattle. We're talking at least 10 picks for Andrew Berry and the front office to work with in the upcoming draft. That's flexibility. That's power. And given the way Berry and his staff crushed last year's draft despite not selecting a single offensive lineman or wide receiver, there's reason for fans to be optimistic. Look at the rookie impact so far. Mason Graham has been rock solid against the run. Harold Fannin Jr. is quietly becoming one of the most consistent rookie tight ends in the league, a reception machine. Carson Switzer is a legitimate defensive rookie of the year candidate, assuming he gets back to full health soon. Quinshon Judkins? He's in the offensive rookie of the year conversation. He's running hard, he's violent at the point of contact, and he's giving the offense much-needed juice. Dylan Sampson is also working his way into the rotation, and with rumors swirling about a potential Jerome Ford trade, it could turn into a full-on rookie backfield in Cleveland. And let's not forget Isaiah Bond. The young wide receiver was thrust into action early due to injuries, and while the room still lacks proven talent, Bond is making the most of his reps. Still, there's concern about the wide receiver group as a whole. Reports surfaced today from Mary Kay Cabot that the Browns aren't actively pursuing a wide receiver ahead of the deadline, and that's got a lot of fans raising eyebrows. With a position group ranked among the league's worst and with play calling from Kevin Stefanski under constant scrutiny, it feels like reinforcements should be a priority. That said, Cedric Tillman being back and healthy is a positive sign. But is it enough? Gabriel has struggled under center and the offensive line isn't holding up the way it needs to. The hope is that some of these internal returns from injury and increased roles for rookies like Fannin and Judkins can offset the gaps. Still, many fans are left wondering if Berry has one more big move up his sleeve before that 4 p.m. Eastern deadline strikes. The move to deal Tryon-Shoyinka could be just the first domino. Reports have circulated suggesting the Browns are still fielding calls on defensive linemen, given how loaded that unit is. Could more picks be on the way? Could a trade be made that flips one of those assets for offensive line help or a capable veteran receiver? So now we ask you, Browns fans, what do you think of this move? Are you on board with trading Joe Tryon-Shoyinka for a 6th rounder? Does it make sense with how deep the defensive line is? Or do you think the Browns should have used him as part of a bigger deal to address more urgent needs like wide receiver or O-line? Let us know your take in the comments. Because when you step back and look at the full picture, this wasn't just about Joe Tryon-Shoyinka. This move is emblematic of how Andrew Berry and the Browns front office are thinking right now, strategically managing depth, contracts, and draft capital. It's clear they're not making impulsive moves just to stir headlines. Instead, they're playing chess, anticipating both the immediate impact and long-term flexibility. That sixth-round pick from Chicago now becomes a potential trade chip or a chance to continue the trend of finding undervalued talent. Remember, Cleveland's recent drafts have produced real contributors without relying on top-tier selections. The proof is on the field every Sunday. The Browns are not just surviving with rookies, they're thriving with them. The front office has created an environment where players like Carson Switzer and Quinshon Judkins are stepping in and producing like veterans. It's a clear sign of strong scouting, player development, and a coaching staff that knows how to maximize talent. Now, despite the strength on defense, the offensive side of the ball remains the area of concern. The wide receiver group, in particular, is underwhelming. There's no denying that the absence of a true WR1 and inconsistent quarterback play are limiting this team's potential. The report from Mary Kay suggesting the Browns are not pursuing a wide receiver before the deadline is frankly surprising. This is a team that has the pieces to make a playoff run, but to do that, they need to get more explosive and consistent offensively. Could this be a smokescreen? Could Berry still be working the phones behind the scenes? Possibly. He's played it close to the chest before. But with only hours left before the trade deadline, time is running out to make that bold move. Fans have every right to be frustrated if the team doesn't address one of its most glaring weaknesses, especially when so much has been done to strengthen other areas of the roster. What also can't be ignored is the impact this could have on locker room chemistry. When players see management making calculated, forward-thinking decisions like this, it builds trust. It shows that the team isn't just reacting to pressure, it's building a foundation that can sustain success. That kind of culture matters, especially in a tightly contested AFC where every edge counts. The Browns have shown they're not afraid to sell even while in contention, which might seem counterintuitive. But with the amount of depth and the emergence of young stars, selling off a piece like Tryon-Shoyinka is more about making room for those who are producing now and positioning for an even stronger offseason. They've already made multiple trades leading up to this one, including deals involving Joe Flacco, Cam Robinson, and the Tyson Campbell corner swap. Each move fits a larger strategy. So, Browns fans, as the trade deadline ticks down, are you expecting one more surprise from Andrew Berry? Should the team go all in and bring in an offensive weapon? Or are you satisfied with the front office's commitment to building long-term through smart, depth-focused deals? Drop your thoughts below, we want to hear from you. Don't forget to click the like button and subscribe to the channel to stay well informed. Go Browns!